Talking about the TV deals there, Keith, another thing that's kind of caught my eye, we've had a lot of responses to on Record Sports social media channels today, is the fact that for the first time this century, the Scotland games coming up will not be on TV. They'll be online only.
Yeah, competitive Scotland match, it's not going to be broadcast.
Similar to the Aberdeen Celtic one, that just seems mad to me.
Yeah. Do you know, the whole thing's evolving, isn't it? I mean, a few years ago, I used to write for a newspaper. Now look at me. So this is the changing face of media, and it's the way it's moving. And it'll be interesting to see how deep the television, the broadcast deals evolve over the next period. Because there is a whole lot more online stuff. I think YouTube are going to be, you'll be able to watch the Scotland games on YouTube, I think.
Yeah.
So that everything's evolving, and the nature of the contracts with TV, the kind of established broadcasters, that might change as well. And it might be something more similar to what Mick's saying there, that in the future, a deal will just have to be done, that people can sit at home and they can decide what they're watching on the smart telly, and it's all made available. And at that time, you know, whoever it is that your broadcast partner is, or who you partner up with at this point, they might have to pay premium. And I've said it for years, and Gordon Strachan said it for years before that when you look at Spain and you look at the TV packages that they've had over the years, you're either, as the armchair fan, sitting in the Nou Camp or sitting in the Bernabeu every weekend. And that's the deal. And you get to see whatever. But Celtic and Rangers have refused, absolutely stonewalled any suggestion of doing something similar. Now, Mick's right, and I've said it for years as well. If I'm a guy in Oslo, right, and I'm fancying what football's available today, Sunday afternoon, and I'm flicking through, and I see, and it used to be Hamilton was my big bugbear with the double-decker bus behind the goal and the superstore over there, the kind of supermarket behind there, and the car park over there. Or it's Ross County and you've got goals, temporary goals set up, you know, and strewn in with the stands and big banners covering gaps where people should be sitting. If I'm that guy in Oslo or whatever, and I'm sitting flicking through it, and it's a plastic pitch as well, by the way, oh, what's that? I mean, this is pub league stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas if somebody transports you into Celtic Park or Ibrox Stadium, first thing you're going to look at is, wow, what's this? Mm-hmm. And that would drag me in as a viewer. And so I think we have badly packaged the whole thing in terms of how we sell the product to TV stations. I think we're going to have a rethink. I think football as a business is going to have to rethink what broadcast contracts look like in the coming years, because everything's changing. As I said, you know, I'm sitting here now on YouTube. But seriously, I mean, 5-10 years ago, you're sitting at this time of night, you're sitting, you're clattering, you're working on the back page for tomorrow. Everything around football and broadcasting and the way that it's packaged up and delivered to people in their living room these days is changing. And football's going to have to get its head around that. And Scottish football might be good for once if we were a sort of trailblazer and we didn't just follow what everybody else did. There might be an opportunity here for Scottish football to get out in front of it. But I won't hold my breath.
Actually, I completely agree with you, Keith, that it is obviously just a symptom of the changing landscape. But judging by the reactions we've been sent in, I'll throw a few of them at you. It's not gone down well with the Tartan Army. David here saying, for those that don't have YouTube, such as the long supporting elderly Tartan Army or those in financial hardship that can't afford the internet or a smart device, it's no go. Shocking. Tommy Mooney replied with, bet you the England games on the telly. And Laura Evans didn't hold back, saying, what a shambles the UK is. Nothing but constant financial trouble thanks to the greedy expletives that live amongst us. And John Williams, bet we're able to watch England on STV. Expletive, ridiculous. So, it's not...
Well, and you know, they're not even in the top group, Nations League. And that's boiling my blood a little bit. You know, surely priority should be given by national broadcasters to who's the top team. Well, it's Scotland right now. And England won't like that, and I get that. But we've been promoted, they've been relegated. They should do one, and all guys should be on the telly. But there is another argument to be made. Where's the national broadcaster in all of this? Why was it left to ITV/STV? to pick up a bid at the 11th hour. Why is that? Where's BBC Scotland, the
Aye.
national broadcaster? Because we all pay for that. So
It's a
where
fair
are they?
point. Aye.
I actually think that's, and the BBC, they do send a lot of people to every Scotland away game, to every, with Celtic and Rangers. There's a lot of BBC guys get sent out to cover. I'm sure that they would be asking, well, why are we not putting something together here? Why on earth would the national broadcaster not wish to broadcast the national football team?
Mm-hmm.
It seems strange to me.
Stephen Leonard has written in saying, "Thank God, who wants to watch Scotland getting battered anyway? As long as Clarke is in charge, I will not be watching. Had enough of the Euros." That's another.
Well, get him off, and it doesn't matter. His opinion's invalid.
Exactly. The other thing, though, Keith, that I wanted to talk about in a Scotland fan sense, I guess, is the fact that a lot of fans have hit out a double standard that they've perceived after Glasgow against Edinburgh in the 1872 Cup. The rugby I'm talking about has been moved to Hampden Park on December the 22nd, and the rugby fans will be able to have a pint at the game. Before I get your take on it, let me throw a few opinions at you that have been sent in. Connor McGinley: "I'm a fan of both sports and I can see both sides of the argument. To be honest, I think the alcohol freezing football fans is based on reputation. I've never seen a fight break out, never mind, or next to each other, never mind at the opposite end of the stadium. They've earned it. When can you imagine Celtic and Rangers fans being able to sit next to each other sober without any trouble?" Ian Miller says, though, "This is Scottish hypocrisy at its worst. Under the Criminal Justice of Scotland Act, alcohol is supposed to be banned, but the corporate brigade gets to consume alcohol before and after matches." David Knight says, "Why not at football? You can in England, why not here? You can't buy a ticket without registering your club. Should make it easy enough to weed out the troublemakers." And I'm of that opinion, really, Keith. I don't really see why football fans are kind of held in this country as, I don't know, just kind of.
Citizens.
Aye, basically, aye. I just think it's a bit mad. Down in, are you telling us that football fans in Scotland are any worse than the fans in England? They can have a pint, but we can't.
No. Listen, I see the hypocrisy in all this, and I don't like it, and I don't like the way that it's just assumed that guys that prefer rugby know how to behave. They're not like the riffraff that go to football. I mean, we're football guys all our life, so it's insulting.
Aye.
And I don't like it, and it's patronising.
Yeah.
And it's like, the argument down south about two-tier policing. Well, there's two-tier drinking going on here. Football fans are doing none of it, and rugby are doing all of it. And I think that is blatantly unfair. So I get on board with that argument. But at the same time, I think we have to be grown up about it, and we have to accept that football fans and football as a sport doesn't help itself. With some of the behaviour that you see around our games, it's almost as if people are looking and saying, well, these people can't be trusted. I think the vast majority of football fans in this country have every right to feel insulted about that. But they've also got to take a look at the minority that attach themselves to whatever football club it might be and find it really difficult to behave, because they seem to be the guys that set the tone when it comes to if people in Holyrood are making decisions about what football fans can and can't be trusted, or how they can and can't be trusted to behave. They look at the minority, and these guys are probably ruining it for everybody else. You look at some of the stuff that goes on with the ultras. You look at what happened at Ibrox last week, the European game. You get fireworks get set off inside the ground. The Green Brigade have had so many issues. There's been trouble with objects thrown on the pitch in big high-profile matches, be that in Edinburgh or Glasgow or whatever else. And unfortunately, I think there's the mentality is, well, look at that. There's another example. We can't trust them. Mm-hmm. But they're turning a blind eye to the 99.9% of fans. They just go along and watch a game of football, and they're quite happy, and they're not interested in all the sort of crazy stuff that goes on around about it. But unfortunately, they are genuinely the silent majority. So there's I can see faults on both sides here. But yes, I do find it incredibly irritating that an assumption is made that football fans and rugby fans, the vast majority of both sets are to be judged in two separate ways. It's not right. It's clearly, patently not right.
Aye.